It's me, Gabby, and today I want to talk to you guys about intuition. You know that little voice in your head that we all hear, and we don't know if we should listen to it or not? That voice, intuition. You know, some of us can hear our inner voice speaking to us loud and clear. We use it to make decisions, and we can do it quickly. Like, bam, that's intuition talking to us. For the rest of us, this isn't really the case. We can't hear our inner voice, so we don't know what we want. We don't know what we need. We don't know what to think, and we don't know how to feel. So for those of us who feel that way, it is critical for us to learn how to listen deeply within ourselves for that inner voice, so that whisper of our inner voice can become a scream. Okay? So how is it that this voice within us became silenced? It became silenced because other people didn't listen to it. When we came into this life, they disregarded our inner voice. They made us not listen to it, but listen to them instead. So as a result, this voice got fainter and fainter and suppressed more and more until we could no longer hear it. It was replaced by other people's voices. The inner voice comes to us primarily through sensation, through emotion, and through thought. It doesn't often come to us audibly, even though it can take that form. You can hear the inner voice a lot. It's the you that talks to you inside your own head, or inside your own heart, or inside your own body. You just don't realize that this is in fact your inner voice, your intuition. This inner voice is our self, our soul. It's what people call our true self talking to us, our talking about ourselves and about the world and all day, every day, everything. Some people call the inner voice intuition because it's an inner knowing, an inner seeing, an inner believing. Not listening to the inner voice leads to the body to try to communicate in other ways through things like a stomach ache or headache or illnesses and even diseases. Not to mention, the universe will magnify the inner voice through your external reality, so you can no longer run from your own inner truth, which is less than uncomfortable. Our inner voice will reflect exactly what is real about us at the moment, both in a state of purity and impurity. It will reflect the fact that we are both shadow and light. Not really concerned with you discerning between the two, because both are real. That's when alignment comes in, but we'll save that for another video to talk about alignment, what that all means to balance yourself out. Now, here's something really important. Most people in the field of wellness and spirituality are going to tell you that it's important to ignore the inner voice that judges, that criticizes, that's constantly making a commentary, a negative one, usually a negative commentary, on the external, and only pay attention to the inner voice that has only good things to say. But I disagree. That's not true. Because both aspects of the inner voice represent what is real about you in the current moment. And if you ignore the inner voice in you that is constantly making a negative commentary of everything in your life, the rest of your inner voice will be suppressed. Because it is part of the same thing, whether it's saying something negative or saying something positive. It is your inner voice that is talking. So acknowledge it. okay? When you hear this aspect of your inner voice, the one that is constantly making a negative commentary, put that bitch in check. Just kidding. Don't do that. Yeah, do that. Acknowledge it. That's all I'm saying. Acknowledge it. It's a common indication that your inner voice is trying to pull your attention towards an aspect of you and desperately needs attention because the quality of your attention is pure, unfiltered consciousness, which is the thing that heals. So it's like drawing attention to a wound. When you focus on these unhealed, unconscious aspects of yourself, that inner voice is trying to draw your attention. It's trying to draw your attention to it. Okay? Only then, when you work through those things and give those things attention, can your aspect of your inner voice that operates from a space of complete clarity and empowerment actually speak to you. So I'm going to boldly tell you that even if you were to do absolutely no shadow work whatsoever, it would still be critical for you to listen to your internal voice no matter what it says, because it still represents what is real about you right here and now. We go against our intuition, sometimes to disastrous ends. Our inner self is always communicating with us about the truth. We need to begin to listen, otherwise we have nothing real to work with. So how do we go about listening to the inner voice, to our intuition? Step 1, we take all of our attention off the external world and we place it instead entirely in the internal world. I want you to imagine that your skin, okay, separates an inner universe and an outer universe. Pretend they are two separate universes. You're going to take all of your attention and place it on the internal universe. If you need to close your eyes internally, feel free. Step 2, you're going to pay attention to the sensation that are happening in the internal universe. You're going to be completely, unconditionally present with them. You are going to observe them like they're a unique sensory experience. Number 3, or step 3, you're going to make your interaction with this sensation much more real and tangible, especially with your mind, so your mind can comprehend it. For example, if the sensation I'm experiencing in my body was a color, what would it be? If it was a texture, what would that texture be? Is it moving or is it still? If it were a shape, what would it be? Then take it further. If this sensation were an image, what would the image be? Step 4. You're going to mentally engage with this image, which is a translation of the sensation taking place within the internal world, as if the sensation itself is a separate being or a thing that can talk to you about itself, which is really talking to you about you. Step 5. You're going to begin to ask it questions. Ask it questions about itself and about its perspective, about you. Questions like, what are you? What do you represent? Why are you here right now? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to feel? What is the truth that I don't want to admit to and express right now? If I were to tell you the absolute truth in this situation and weren't afraid to do so, what would the truth be? Step 6. You're going to listen to the answers that comes as a result of those questions. It doesn't matter whether you get the answers audibly, or whether you just get them in terms of a sense of knowing, or whether you see them. However, those answers come to you. You're going to engage with. You're going to feel it. You're going to know it. You're intuitively going to take this process wherever you feel like it needs to go. No matter what answers you receive or how you receive them, this is the inner voice communicating with you. This is you hearing the inner voice. Step 7. Have a conversation with yourself. Now that you've asked this aspect of yourself, this inner voice, these questions, I don't need to teach you how to have a conversation. You will intuitively know exactly how to do that, how to respond to the image that has come to you that is representing this inner truth. You will know what to do as a result of the answers that you get from the inner voice, and you can let this process naturally unfold from there. Talking to yourself internally is you having a conversation with you, your inner voice. There is no right or wrong way to do this. If you try this process and the inner voice doesn't talk to you or isn't communicating to you, you're getting no impression from your internal world, I also need you to be patient. What's happening is you suppressed your inner voice and ignored your inner reality, your intuition, for so long that aspect of you that's wounded by the fact that you've done that is testing you. It's basically saying to you, like, why the hell should I talk to you? Why should I believe you? I don't want to talk to you. You haven't listened to us for so long. What's to say that you're not just gonna go back to ignoring me again? So, if you got this type of inner voice, it's essential for you to be even more present. Continue coming back no matter how long it takes, no matter how many times you have to do it, until it begins to trust you enough to talk to you. Chances are, if this is how your inner voice is interacting with you, it doesn't trust you, because you have an abusive pattern with responding to yourself. So practice connecting with your heart. Your inner voice speaks loudest through your heart. What's important to know is that your inner voice can speak through any aspect of you. Your inner voice can speak through your mind, it can speak through your heart, it can speak through your fingernails, it can speak through your pancreas. It can speak on behalf of any aspect of you. Why can it do this? Well, because your inner voice represents the real you. With enough practice, you are not going to have to shut off your senses to go find your inner voice. It's not going to be a whisper. It's going to be a yell. It's going to be loud. So instead of going to find it, to listen so deeply to it, it's going to come up to meet you. In fact, it's going to become unavoidable as you are engaging with the external world. You will literally hear your internal voice all the time. And then you can be an expression of the truth and reality within yourself. It's not going to be a mystery that you think how you think and how you feel and what you want and what you don't want. And with that being said, expression has really critical way to get to the inner voice, to go from quiet to loud. It became quiet because we suppressed it. We essentially sent the message that, guess what? My parents or my caregiver or my school or my teachers or my peers right now are right about me. My voice doesn't matter. That's essentially what you're saying to yourself, that you don't matter, that your voice don't matter. So the voice shrinks. We didn't allow it to express itself. So what's the opposite of that suppression? Is expression. For this reason, I want you to learn how to express yourself and to make an active practice of it. Our inner voice is always talking to us about the things we experience in our life and the people that we meet. It's always whispering in our head. In the beginning, when we were first starting to listen to our inner voice, we need to stop and reflect. We need to trace back over to what we said and what happened, what we thought about it, how we felt, what we thought when we do this. Our inner voice honors the pathways by which we arrived at our intuitive reaction. In any given situation, it makes our intuition much more acute. It enables us to identify the concrete reasons why. For example, we hesitated to make a decision that on the surface it seemed like a good one. The more often you are able to recognize why you have the instinctual reaction you do, the more comfortable you'll be with your intuition. You'll come to learn that your inner voice can be trusted. Sooner or later, if you ignore and suppress your inner voice, the universe isn't going to let you do it anymore. It's not going to let it happen anymore. Your life is going to become quite literally so uncomfortable that everything will drag you back to it until you can't ignore it anymore. And then you're going to have to shift everything, and it's not a comfortable process. It's not. So live your life according to what is real. What is real about you? Admit to what's real and listen to your inner voice, and never let your inner voice be drowned out by the voices of others. Your intuition will never steer you wrong. Just listen. I hope this was helpful. Have a good week, everyone. Much love and light. Please don't forget to like, subscribe if you like what you heard, so you can watch some of my other videos and my new videos, and hit the bell so you don't miss any of my new videos. And share, because sharing is caring, because look at this face. How could you not share? Share with your friends, share with your families, share with somebody that you feel needs to listen to their intuition. All right? Again, much love and light. Many blessings.